Hello and welcome back. So today we're going to talk about Ellevest. Recently my sister-in-law was asking me about Ellevest. She uses it to invest her money on a month-to-month basis. I was trying to get an understanding of if that's a good option for her or if she should be looking at other things. And then by the end of this video, hopefully you'll have some good understandings of how it actually works and the different products they offer and if it's something that will work for your situation. So let's jump right in. Now there's a little bit of irony in the fact that I'm doing this video because Ellevest is actually targeted more towards women. And the main reason that they're doing what they're doing is because historically in the financial industry has been predominantly male. And a lot of times what happens is with the investment advice that you're given or some of the tips that you're given, a lot of times it's actually factored around being a male compared to being female. And that could relate to certain things of the length of time you're actually in the workforce. It could relate to maternity leave and parental leave, but a lot of different things that systemically have been more male oriented. So Ellevest is just trying to break down some of those barriers. So I'm just going to try and give you an unbiased opinion of some of the different products that they offer, and hopefully you'll be able to understand if this is a good option for you or not. One really awesome thing that I love about Ellevest is they have something called impact portfolios. And that's basically where they give you the option to invest in, let's say, like women-led companies or companies with a high proportion of women on boards, or sustainable companies or socially conscious companies. So one other thing that we're going to talk about as we go through this video, probably a little bit more towards the end of the video, is based off the price of how much Ellevest costs or the fees that they charge per month. How much money should you have invested, and is that fee actually worth it for you compared to some of these other services that you might consider using? I would like to say that my opinion of Ellevest is very high. I think it is a very reputable company started by an incredible founder. They're doing some really great things that are socially conscious. They're trying to break down some of these systemic barriers. And so in general, although I'm not a financial advisor, I think that having your money in Ellevest, it's not something that you should be stressed about. Ellevest is a high quality company, very reputable. So if you do have your money in Ellevest right now, or if you were to put your money in Ellevest after this video or just other research that you're doing, I think it's a perfectly fine option. And it's not something that you need to be like completely stressed about right now. So Ellevest is essentially a robo advisor, and there's a couple different services that are out there, like you might have heard of Wealthfront or Betterment, and Ellevest is kind of similar to that, where basically they're going to figure out who you are. They're going to ask you some questions based off your age, maybe where you live, your financial status, your job status, employment status, and they're basically going to take all those factors into account and develop a portfolio for you based off of different risk factors that might be related to you. So maybe you're young and you're willing to take a lot of risk, or you want to invest in socially conscious businesses. Ellevest is basically going to use an algorithm to determine a lot of different investments that you might be able to be invested in, and that algorithm is going to automatically generate a portfolio of investments for you. So one of the benefits of Ellevest, just right off the bat, is that a lot of times they're going to have lower fees because the algorithm or the robo-advisor, it's not an actual human that you have to interact with all the time. So a lot of times these companies are able to keep their costs a little bit lower and pass those savings on to you in the form of a lower monthly fee or annual fee, depending on how they actually charge customers. And we'll talk about how Ellevest charges customers as well as we kind of move on in this video. But essentially this robo-advisor, it's just kind of lowering the fees compared to if you were to actually work with a human financial advisor, someone that you're actually go into their office or call a lot of times. And they're going to do a lot of the same things, it's just in a more automated fashion. So that's basically what a robo-advisor is and how Ellevest works in that sense. So now let's kind of jump into the different products that they offer and what you're going to actually get by signing up with Ellevest. So in terms of the pricing, let's walk through the three options that Ellevest has, just so you can kind of understand what the differences are and which option might be a good one for you. Now, there's no minimum that you have to actually invest in Ellevest. You can put any amount of money in there, and they also do something where with each paycheck, you can actually deposit directly into Ellevest a certain amount of money, and they will automatically invest that. So that is a really easy and great feature that they have. A lot of different advisors and brokerage services will have something like that. But it's really great just to kind of reduce stress. It's not something you have to be extremely active with. You can just automatically send money there and just know that over time your investments, the amount that you actually have invested will be increasing. I think one of the main benefits of that is just the stress reduction and something that you can have off your mind and know that someone trustworthy is actually going to be investing your money into something that also is factored into who you are as well as an individual. So just looking at some of these options here in terms of the pricing. So they have three different options. The first one is called the Essential Package, and this is going to be $1 a month. You have the Plus Package, which is $5 a month, and then you have the Executive one, which is $9 a month. So with the different plans that they offer, there's a couple different sections of features and products that they have, which might differentiate which plan you would want to be going with. So the first one is investing. You also have learning, you have banking, coaching access, retirement, and multi-goal investing. So we'll walk through all these right now. So with investing, this is where basically you would invest money, deposit money into Ellevest. They would create a portfolio customized to you based off different questions and factors in your life. And over time, you can add money to this. It'll reinvest your dividends, and it'll also allocate the money over different periods of time, and just kind of understand if your stock went really high, it might reallocate so that you have more bonds or stocks, and it'll do this automatically as well, just so that you don't have to be thinking about it too. So that's kind of the investing section, is just the standard put money in, they'll invest it in a portfolio or some funds, bonds, different things like that, and then you'll be able to kind of see the returns over time from there as well. You also have the learning section. So this is just kind of their online learning section for workshops, webinars, different things that might happen, just different resources for you to keep understanding what's going on with personal finance. So if there's certain things I might not be talking about on my channel here, they have some awesome resources online as well. So all of these plans have access to that. You also have banking. So this is where, depending on how you actually want to use Ellevest, you can use it almost like a debit card or a savings account as well. So that if you're using multiple different banks, you can kind of consolidate it into one bank here as well. They don't have any ATM fees. So basically what happens here is if you were to go use any ATM, they'll actually reimburse you for the fee there. So that's a nice benefit. A lot of banks are actually starting to do that now too as well. The one, not necessarily a negative, but one thing just to kind of keep in mind here for the banking section compared to other banks or just other services that are out there, is that Ellevest doesn't actually have a savings rate for you, or a savings interest rate. At least at the moment, it doesn't seem like they do. So where some banks you might be able to get like a 0.5% interest rate on your savings account, or 1%, 2%, which was kind of like a year ago, but they don't have at the moment any savings rate. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind if you did want to get an interest rate on your savings account. It doesn't seem like Ellevest currently offers that. But in general, all these accounts here still will have the banking option as well. Coaching access is where you can actually talk to someone face to face. And depending on which package you'd be on, you get different discounts for the one-on-one sessions as well. And where we kind of start hitting the differences in terms of which products are actually offered, it's with the retirement and multi-goal investing. So the retirement option does not come with the essential package, the $1 a month package. And this would basically be if you want to start a 401k, or you want to kind of get a retirement account set up. If you're on those two middle packages, or the middle package or the higher package, those do come with the option to do retirement, but the essential package does not. So that's also just kind of a thing to think about as you're going through this as well. And then the last one is called multi-goal investing. So this is if you want to create multiple different accounts that have different risk tolerances. So it kind of allows you to have different goals for each of those accounts that you might have. So again, something that you can kind of use to consider if you want to choose one package over the other one. And so I mentioned at the start of the video, we're going to kind of talk about how much you potentially need to consider investing for this fee to actually make sense for you. So I want to break that down now for you. So as I kind of go through these monthly fees and the price that it would actually cost depending on these plans, I think the really important thing to remember is do not stress about this. And I know by saying do not stress about this, it might actually make you start stressing. So let me flip that around and say, stay calm, everything's going to be okay. Again, because if you're using Ellevest, it's a reputable company, and it's not necessarily something that you need to panic about and switch automatically. There are some other things that you can think about when you're actually coming up with your own investment decisions. But again, it's a reputable company. They're investing your money in high quality funds with high quality investment advisors that actually work for Ellevest. So again, stay calm, it's okay. We'll learn together and we'll figure this out. So with the essential package at $1 a month, how you can kind of think of this is if you were to invest $1,000 with Ellevest, $1,000, and you would be paying $1 per month. So that's $12 per year. That's essentially a 1.2% fee that you're going to be paying on all of your money every year. There's also going to be some really small fees as well that'll be associated with the actual annual expense ratio of some of these funds that you're invested in. But essentially you can just think 1.2% is the cost of Ellevest for the year, which is about 1.2% of $1,000 if that's the amount you actually invest. So as you invest more in Ellevest, if you're on that $1 per month package, then your fee percentage actually goes down. So let's say you were to invest $10,000 in Ellevest, then at $12 per year, your fee is only 0.12%, which is actually a really low fee. So $10,000 compared to $1,000, your fee is going to be slightly different. So that's just something to kind of think about in your mind. If you have a really small amount, and by really small amount, it's all comparative, but if it's $1,000 or less, then that fee might actually be a substantial piece. But as you kind of build up your wealth and start adding more money in month to month, if that's something you're going to do with direct deposits, that fee percentage actually goes down as well. So if you're just on that essential plan, just kind of investing, no retirement or no multi-goal investing, then $1 a month, I'd say after about $1,000, that fee percentage is going to continue to go down, and it's really, I'd say, below average at that point as well. So $1 a month, I think, is a completely reasonable fee for you to invest. And I'd say, anything above $1,000, that's going to be like an above or a better than market rate for what you'd be able to get for that. Now with the plus package, I'd say at $5 a month, that's then $60 a year. So if you only have, let's say, $1,000 to invest, I would say a $60 fee per year is actually pretty hefty. So in that case, I'd say $1,000 might be too small to invest in that plus option. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so please just understand that I'm just giving my best advice based off my own experience. But I'd say at $1,000 a month, that 6%, like a 6% fee on that for the plus per year is pretty significant. So I'd recommend maybe looking at a different option or trying to work to save up a little bit more money before you actually start your investment account. Then if you were to invest $10,000 for the year on that plus account, then you're really only looking at a 0.6% fee, which is, I'd say, pretty average. It's still slightly above maybe what you could get in other places, but again, not something you have to stress about. So I'd say $10,000 for that middle package is relatively reasonable at this point in terms of maybe what I would recommend starting out with. I'd say with the executive option, which is $9 a month, that's almost about close to $100 per year that you're going to be paying in fees to Ellevest. So I'd just say before you move on to that one, just kind of consider how much you're actually going to be investing up front, because that fee can actually take out a large chunk of that investment per year if you don't have a more significant amount actually invested in that. So thanks for sticking around. If you are considering Ellevest after this video, you can go to ellevest.com. I have absolutely no affiliation with Ellevest. I will just say that right there. I get zero money for actually telling you to go to their website. If you were to sign up, no affiliation there. I just wanted to provide that information if after this video it is something that you want to use to actually manage your investments and kind of grow your financial situation throughout your life. So ellevest.com, you can sign up for any of their packages on there. You can deposit money in there. But I really appreciate you watching. I would love if you could comment below. Just let me know what you think. If there's any other questions you have, anything I missed, anything you really liked about this, or you think about Ellevest or Betterment or Wealthfront or any of these other robo-advisor companies. But really, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. And I will see you next time.